What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. Thanks for stopping by and joining us for today's video. Today we are focusing on Black owned beauty brands only, and I will also be creating a Pride look with those brands. So kind of best of both worlds. So this video will be a little bit more serious. Obviously there's a lot to talk about as far as what's going on in the world. This is not for followers. This is not for clout. This is not for anything but to use my voice for all the right reasons. So I'll go over all the products that I use. I will leave links below as always so that you guys can go check out whatever I use in the videos. You can find more information in the description box below. If you're not sure of how to donate, where to donate, how to educate yourself, etc., I will leave everything below. So let's get started. So the first product I'm going to use is going to be on my brows. I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty Brow Pencil. This is Brow MVP, and I just got the shade Dark Brown. So the one side has the pencil, and the other side has a little brush, which I think is super cool. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a brush and not a spoolie. I kind of love that. I've never used that before. Okay, Rihanna, I see you, Miss Fenty. Okay, I really love this brush, actually. It softens them so much without like the harshness of a spoolie on your skin. Okay, 10 out of 10, would recommend. This was great. So now I'm going to clean up my brows with my Fenty Beauty Concealer. I got the shade 140. It doesn't have a name, I don't think. But it's the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer. I'm just kind of dragging this down to create a base for my eyeshadow as well with whatever's left on my brush. Also, I got a new camera. She's a little bit of a YouTuber now. Can you guys tell though, is the quality better on these videos? Pop quiz, have you watched my other videos? Just kidding, but really, do you think this camera quality is better? This is why I do my eyebrows off camera. So for my eyeshadow, I'm going to be using my Juvia's Place palettes. So I actually got two. This one's called the Afri. I'm not going to try to pronounce these names. I will butcher them. Super sorry about that. But they have a ton of like rainbow shades in them. And then I also got this one called Violet for obvious reasons. But like I said, I will be doing a Pride look with these palettes. So I definitely wanted to make sure I got all the colors that I needed. And I have been dying to use a Juvia's Place palette because the pigment is amazing. Can you do it with two hands? I don't know. Either way, I've heard the pigment's great. So I did, like I said, use the concealer as my primer, and then I'm going to jump in with this yellow here and place that just in my inner corner. So I'm going to be using my Morphe M431 for this. I'm actually going to use more of a packer brush. Use my Morphe M456. Wow, this is beautiful. I hope it reads the same on camera as it does in person. So now I'm going with the orange shade. I'm going with the orange shade because I can speak English. So like I said, I just really wanted to use this video and my platform, no matter how big or small, to bring some awareness to everything going on. Obviously, you can't avoid it at this point. It's literally on the news, it's on your Instagrams, it's on literally every social media platform you could potentially have. Everything that's happened between George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, all of the more recent things that have just been happening, I think people are really paying more attention to, and it's brought a lot of people together. And I think it's sad that that had to happen for people to unite and come together and join forces on something this serious. You know what I mean? Like it took that much for people to really want to do something about it. But at the same time, people are doing something about it, and I think that's amazing. You know, I personally have been trying to educate myself as much as possible. I definitely take pride in being open to that and being willing to educate family members and not just look past certain things that people say and actually, you know, call people out to say, hey, you know, here's a little tidbit of information, but it's not okay to say this. Or, you know, there's just a lot of different education. For instance, my oldest sister, she's deaf. I'm fluent in sign language. I never knew there were two different signs on how to say black when you're referring to a black person. I didn't know there was two different ways to sign it, with one of them being the equivalent of like the N-word, how we're not able to say it and we're not allowed to, but in black culture maybe that's accepted in this way that you sign it. I never knew that. And so that, to me, I love learning things like that because I'm not ignorant anymore to the fact that there are different signs. It's definitely eye-opening for me that there are different things like that that I would have never even thought of. But people are putting everything out there and I'm absorbing as much as I can. I am trying to be as much of an ally for not just the black community, but literally any community that I can, where maybe my voice, because of my skin color, does hold more power. And, you know, recognizing my white privilege, but using it to the fullest extent of positivity rather than using it to oppress people further is my ultimate goal. By no means am I like an activist, or I'm not going to be the one out here organizing protests and things like that. That's just not my like forte. But I can share links, or I can do things like this where I'm raising awareness and do my part, however big or small it might be, and at least try to help educate people. That's my little spiel on that. Also, I'm sorry in advance if this video ends up being super long because I have a lot to say. I'm just going back through and blending everything together. Okay, I might come back and blend this a little bit more later, but I'm going to move on to this eye. So I'm basically doing the rainbow this way to this way. So, oh, did I do this on the wrong eye? I hope this is the correct order on camera. That's gonna look silly. I'm taking the same brush I used for the yellow and I'm dipping into the green shade here, and I'm just going to start on my inner corner on this side. Oh, so she's pigmented. Okay guys, I definitely recommend this palette. I do remember when I was on the website too, they were having some sales of like, I think it was buy one get one half off or something for the palettes. Might not be correct, but these palettes are super affordable, and obviously you get your money's worth out of it because wow. I'm using the same brush that I went in with the green and just dipping into the blue. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so pigmented, I can already tell. I have never used a palette with such instant color payoff like this. Okay, and then just from the Violets palette, I'm going to use I think I'm going to mix these two purples together, so the light and the dark. I don't want it to be super dark or super light, so I want somewhere in the middle. So I was actually talking with my dad yesterday, and I mean, my dad was raised in the 60s. That's when he was a teenager. And he is so open to learning new things and being educated, and I think a lot of people from his generation are just kind of stuck on that "it's just how I was raised" mentality. I commend my dad for being so open to learning. But we were talking about how crazy it is that my dad was alive when the first black girl went to an integrated school, which is Ruby Bridges, if you guys don't know. But like, just to think that it wasn't even that long ago. Like, my dad was alive when that happened. My dad was alive when the whole Martin Luther King Jr., you know, protests, the riots, all of that was going on. He was alive whenever he got shot. He remembers when he got shot. Like, this wasn't that long ago. And it's just crazy to think that it seems like it when you're taught in history class. It seems like it was forever ago. But it was so recent that it's just like mind-boggling to me that he witnessed that. And then just to think, like, with our children, that we will be the ones to have, you know, we marched in 2020. We protested. We were part of this movement in 2020. It's just crazy to me. But it's also so saddening to see that within that 60-year gap, there's not much that's changed. I just think, like I said, this whole movement, everything that's happened, even though it's been so negative and so scary and so saddening, all the things that have happened, it's also been so eye-opening and so amazing, like I said, to see how America has changed in such little time. So for those of you who don't know, I live in Denver in Colorado, and we just passed a bill the SB 217 bill. And it's to hold police accountable and not give them immunity or any type of like extra protection just because they're a police officer for brutality cases. That's amazing, but it's also insane to me that we didn't have that before. The fact that a doctor has to go to school for years and years and years to learn all types of different medicine, and if one thing goes wrong and they kill one patient, they could lose their license, their entire livelihood, their career, everything over one case. No matter what happened, what the circumstances were, that's all that matters, is that that person lost their life. So the fact that we've created this almost like blanket immunity or this like toxic brotherhood is insane. I can't wrap my mind around it, that it took this long for people to say, hey, you should actually be accountable for your actions. We're not going to make excuses for you. I'm never going to say that I hate police officers, that I don't support the idea of having police, because I do think to some extent we need them. But I have also never been on the receiving end of brutality, of hatred, of any type of wrongful action. So it's easy for me to say that. And it's because I'm white, honestly. And I recognize that. And I'm not hiding behind any other reasons to say, well, it's because I've never broken the law. Well, I've sped before. That's breaking the law. And I've gotten off without a ticket. How many people of color can say the same thing? I don't remember in school learning a lot about Black history. I learned about Martin Luther King. I learned about Malcolm X and the major, I guess, things that happened, but I don't remember covering it in depth. I also never had a Black teacher, so I can never say that somebody felt like it was more important to teach me that. I had white teachers growing up. I had maybe one Hispanic teacher. Whenever I sit down and think about that, I never thought about it until this all happened, as you know, who were my influences growing up? I had white teachers. There's been a lot of eye-opening things to show me how different my upbringing was and how almost censored my history lessons were. So I'm just taking it upon myself. The documentary, The 13th, it came out quite a while ago, I feel like, because I watched it quite a while ago, but it's about the 13th Amendment. I highly suggest you watch that. I will leave, like I said, links below, everything I'm talking about, resources, things like that. But I definitely would suggest watching that. Very eye-opening. But I just think the more that we can open our eyes, and all you need to do is understand, whether you agree or not, at least you're equipped with knowledge. That's all you can ask. So I'm going to do my face so I can complete my eye look. I'm pretty happy with how my eyes are so far. I still need to finish out the rest of it, so let's get started on the face. So I'm going to be using my Fenty Beauty Primer. This is the Soft Matte Pro Filter Primer. I'm using my Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation in the shade 9J01B. Is that right? I think so. I'll leave everything below. And I'm just using my Morphe M439 to apply it. I'm really hoping this shade matches because I had to get it offline. Oh, not too bad. Okay, I'm good to go. Oh, this is probably the best I've done getting a foundation online. I have used the Fenty foundations before and they are amazing. They're so full coverage and they're so long lasting, these foundations. Oh my gosh. Like I said though, I have been doing my best to just, you know, use as many resources as possible. You know, I've tried to donate to different causes. I even had, I forget which one specifically it was one of the bailout funds, and it was amazing because when I went to the site, I couldn't donate because they said that they got so many donations that they were overwhelmed and wanted to take a break to figure out how they can manage all of those funds. Think about that. That's amazing. That I couldn't even donate because they had already gotten so many donations that they didn't even know what to do with them. Like, just the fact that that many people are stepping up and helping, it restores some hope in humanity that people are really willing to, you know, go out on a limb and help out. There's also a, I guess you can call it like a YouTube series by, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce his name right, but it's Emmanuel Acho, or Acho, I'm not sure. I'll leave it below. His videos are called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, and he is a linebacker. I don't remember for what team, but he is in the NFL. So one of his was by himself. One of his episodes was with Chip and Joanna Gaines and their kids. So I definitely commend him, again, using your platform. I'm going with my concealer, the same one I used on my eyes. But I definitely think things like that are worth checking out, especially because it is from the perspective of a black man in America, and it's just such a different point of view. Like, I could sit here and talk to you guys all day about, you know, what is happening in the world and, you know, the current state of everything, but at the end of the day, I'll never fully understand because I'm white. And I think one of the more powerful quotes that I've seen is, I understand that I will never understand, but with you I stand. And I think that that's exactly what it is. I will never, ever, ever, ever in my life experience racism. I will never experience prejudice for the color of my skin. I will never experience racial profiling. I will never in my life experience the things that people of color and black people especially go through. But I understand that, and I don't ever expect that I will, but I will do my best to educate myself and to be a resource and to speak up for those who may be unheard, or, you know, recognize that I do have white privilege and that, you know, that can be a very powerful tool. Instead of using it to oppress, to use it to educate, to use it to be an ally. I just think it's the right thing to do at the end of the day. I think that it's okay to have conversations with your children about what's going on in the world, because ultimately they will be the leaders of this world one day. They will be the ones in the positions of power that can do something about it. That might ignite some type of a spark in them to be that activist, or to be that, you know, lawmaker, or that, you know, lobbyist, or whatever that they could be for change. So why wouldn't you equip them with that? Okay, so I just realized I also didn't get bronzer. So I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but I'm just gonna use my NYX matte bronzer. Couldn't already tell, I'm obviously very passionate about things like this, because I just feel like, and again, I mean, I was raised with this thought process, so it's easier for me to comprehend or to accept, I guess you could say. I was raised not to hate somebody because of the way they looked or because of who they loved, and like I talked about a little bit in my last video, like, you know, my sisters are gay, and that's something that I think that's helped me a lot as well, is to kind of see, you know, the things that they had to go through, the hate or the looks that they get or things like that, that it's for no other reason besides what they look like or who they're with, or, you know, it's like, to me, just the most unfair judgment, because the same as a black person, they don't get to choose the color of their skin, they don't get to choose their ancestry. So why would I judge somebody for that? I mean, I can't even imagine leaving my house and feeling like I have a target on my back at all times because of the history that my race has with this world. You know what I mean? Like I said, this video is not as fun or lighthearted, but I just feel like it needs to be said. I mean, maybe I don't have the biggest platform, and maybe not, you know, millions and millions of people will see this, but if 5 people see it that take something from it and do go and do their research and educate themselves, if one person does, then so be it. I just feel like, why not at least try? The least we could do as white people is try to be an ally, to be a resource, to help. And like I said, I'm never going to be an expert, but I can at least do my very, very, very small part in raising awareness. Okay, so now that my contour and everything is done, I am going to move on to my under eye and just finish that up really quickly. Okay, so my under eyes are done. To make this look a little bit more extra, I guess, I am going to smoke out these 2 colors, so the purple and the red, and blend them out into my cheeks and then do my blush. So I'm going to use this brush that came with my Juvia's Place blush. I like that it has the pointed end, so it's a little bit more precise, but still fluffy enough to blend out. So we're going to see how this does. Okay, so my camera died again, so that's a new fun thing that happens. Yay! For some reason I can't plug it in and record at the same time. So Canon, if you could just like not do that, Thank you. That'd be great. So I went ahead and did the other side off camera while I was waiting. So I just have these two sides done so far. So like I said, I just kind of smoked it out to where my bronzer kind of meets it. So I'm going to mix these two blushes together because I think it'll be a really pretty color. So this one is called Bella, and it's like a darker, kind of like richer pink. And then this one is called Serafina, and this one's like a very light peachy pink. So I think mixing them together would be like the perfect shade. I'm just going to take my Morphe E48 and a little bit of both. Ooh, these are going to be pigmented, I can already tell. Oh my god, this one's so pink. Okay, abort mission. I'm just using the light one. Oh my god. Are you gonna blend? Oh my god, please blend. Please. Okay. Blend out, honey. Okay. Oh, it's super silly of me, wasn't it? A little bit of foundation over top so it mutes it a little. Just the smallest amount, okay? So this might be the part I was actually the most excited about. Besides the Juvia's Place palette, since I've heard so much about them, is the Beauty Bakery highlight. Oh my gosh, I have heard such good things, seen such good reviews about this. I swatched it earlier and she's pigmented. It's a good highlight. So it does have like these little holes on top. I'm just gonna dump a little bit into the lid. Before I apply my highlighter, I'm gonna use my Morphe setting spray. So I didn't get setting spray or setting powder. I don't know why, it just didn't cross my mind, but just a little light mist, let that sink in. And then while my face is still dewy, I use my Morphe M504 and I just put a little bit into the lid. Can y'all see that? I can only imagine how beautiful this looks on like deeper, darker skin tones. Oh, bronze goddess. That's what it looks like, I'm sure. Because this is bronzy, actually, this might not work for my skin tone. Hopefully it doesn't look crazy on camera. It looks decent in person. It is a little dark, so I would recommend, like, this is the, does it have a shade? I think that's what was hard for me. It just says Beauty Bakery Illuminator. So maybe it's just meant for darker skin tones, like that's maybe the whole point of it. So next I'm going to go in with my lip liner. This is from the Lip Bar, and Straight Up is the shade. That lip pencil is so beautiful. And then I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty lipstick. This is in the shade Thick, 2 C's. No lie, that's how it's spelled, so 2 C's. So for lashes, I am going to be using my Colored Rain lashes. These are in the style Glamazon. Okay, so let's talk about this packaging really quick because this is probably my favorite part of any product is the packaging. So it comes in this super cute like sleeve that you push out the lashes, and then to open the lashes themselves, it's in a hard plastic case so you can actually store them in this as well. And then you slide open the lashes. Super cute. So I'm going to put on my lashes off camera really quickly and then I will be right back. Alright y'all, so I just put my lashes on. These are so cute. I love how dramatic they are. And then I did just tightline my lashes and do a little bit of eyeliner in my waterline to blend the band together. But I love this look. Overall, every product that I used, I actually really liked. And that's not just obviously because that's what this video is about. You know, I think by now, hopefully you guys know I would give you an honest review of things if I didn't like them. Like this highlighter, beware, it's obviously super golden. So if you have darker skin tone or you know, like a more bronze look, then obviously it looks better. But overall, I don't think there's anything that I used that I didn't like. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far. Obviously, we did talk about some pretty heavy topics. I did really want to use my platform, like I said, no matter how big or small, just to try to raise awareness and do my part and everything. So like I mentioned before, I will leave some resources down below. If there's anything that you guys have as far as resources or things that have helped you, please comment them down below and let everybody know, including myself. So definitely give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more looks like this or just content like this in general. Like I said, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching all the way through. I definitely appreciate you. And I mentioned in my last video, every video this month will have a giveaway associated. So just the same rules as the other 2 videos for this one. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow my Instagram, and comment down below when you're done with your Cash App included. And that's it. But I will be back next week with our final Pride look, and then we will move on to some very, very exciting videos for the month of July. So until next time, bye guys!